Congratulations, you got a job. And now your stress from, oh my God, am I gonna get a job, is shifting to, oh my God, what do I do now? I know because I've been there. Setting up your first classroom is stressful, but it's so exciting and so much fun. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be filming the video that is probably the most requested from you guys at this point in time. And that is, as a first year teacher, stepping into your brand new, very first classroom, what are things that you absolutely have to buy? And what are things that maybe aren't necessary for your first year of teaching? So I am gonna do a little bit of a disclaimer in the beginning. I am probably going to be a hypocrite for some of the things that I say. I'm gonna give you some advice because some of these things are things that I did not do and I learned from those mistakes. That also being said, I think when you go into your first classroom, it's really intimidating because you see all these beautiful pictures on Instagram and Pinterest. There's a lot of pressure, I think, from the social media community to have this like picture perfect classroom. So just know that that isn't necessary for your very first year of teaching. However, I kind of went into my first classroom knowing that I wanted to create a space that I wanted to spend time in, knowing that I wanted to create a space that felt homey and comfortable and inviting and welcoming, just to foster that learning community, and just, it was a space that I knew I was going to be spending a lot of my personal time. And knowing myself, I knew that I needed it to be organized and put together and appealing to the eye. I'm well aware that that is not everybody. So don't feel ashamed if you do want to put a little bit extra effort into your classroom, and don't feel ashamed if you don't. Neither one is going to make you a better teacher. I just don't want you to feel pressured into making your classroom this amazing picture perfect Pinterest classroom if that's not what your goal. All right, so throughout the past couple of weeks, I have been creating a list on my phone. And I kind of have it broken down into like 3 different groups. So I have one thing of things that I think you absolutely need your first year of teaching. And then I have some things that you probably don't need, but they really helped me and I would recommend getting. And then I have some things that you probably don't necessarily need. So that being said, if you want my opinion, my personal opinion, I'm not telling you that this is the right or the wrong thing. You want my opinion on some things you should buy for your first classroom, go ahead and keep on watching. But before you do, why don't you like hit the subscribe button. Okay, so the very first thing that you absolutely need to start doing is building your classroom library. So if you've watched my teaching story video, I mentioned that I finished my program in December and I didn't start teaching until the following August. So I had a lot of time to kind of process and think about things that I needed, and a lot of time to start building this classroom library. I know that that's not a luxury for everybody. So things to do to build your classroom library. I found so many books at garage sales. It's kind of awkward going up to a garage sale, I know, but I'm telling you it's worth it. I found so many, like 25 cents a book. And a lot of times if you say you're a teacher, they'll just give you stuff. I'm not even kidding you. Garage sales, Goodwill. I found a store that was having like a huge book sale, like, I don't even know, just getting rid of stuff, and I rated it. The tricky thing about that is at that time, I didn't know what grade I was gonna be teaching. I knew I kind of wanted to teach upper grades, so I focused a lot on like chapter books, kind of like 2nd through 5th grade. However, there's a lot of picture books that are really good for read alouds and teaching. So keep an open mind when you're shopping for your classroom library. Also, depending on the situation that you're walking into, a lot of times the teacher before you will leave books for you, which is awesome. And ask other teachers around your school if they have extra books that they don't need. Again, don't be afraid to ask for help. I mentioned that in another video. So another good way to start building your library. On that note, another thing that is imperative for your first classroom are some kind of bins or organization for your classroom library. Now, if your classroom has built-in bookshelves and that's the way that you want to rock it, by all means, skip this part. But I find that for elementary kids, it's a lot easier for them to look through bins because it's more condensed and you can divide them up by genre or reading level. So go invest in some good book bins. I use the ones from Dollar Tree. I'll put a link right here, or a picture. But just those big square plastic bins, and they have, I mean, obviously I've only been teaching for 1 year, but so far I don't have any problems with them. Along the lines of a classroom library, you're gonna have kids that have their own personal silent reading books, and I didn't initially buy these in the beginning of the year, and I just had them keep their books on their desk, and it was awful. Like, I don't know, it just drove me nuts. So I think it's a good idea to invest in some kind of a book bin. If you saw one of my Instagram posts, I raided Dollar Tree to find these book bins. They are sturdy plastic. They stand up. I already have their numbers on them. I just created these. So the books go in here, and I'm just gonna line these up along one of my shelves, and that way their desk is clutter-free. Whenever they need to grab their books, they can grab their book bin, and then that's that. So these are from Dollar Tree. I know Lakeshore Learning has really good book bins. They're a little more expensive. I have a lot of book bins from Lakeshore that I don't really want anymore, so I'm thinking about doing a giveaway, so stay tuned. Also, if you don't want to spend a lot of money on the plastic book bins, they have like cardboard book bins. Just know that they're probably not going to last you longer than a year. There's other options that you can go if you don't want to spend the money on a more sturdy book bin. Another must, and I'm sure you already know this, purchase for your first year are baskets and tubs to do organizing. This is really, really tricky. I made the mistake of just going crazy in Dollar Tree before I even really had an idea of how my classroom was set up, what I really needed, and the color scheme that I was really gonna go for. I thought in the beginning that I was just gonna do all sorts of bright colors, and then as I started nearing my actual move-in day, I realized that I just really wanted to focus on a blue and green theme. It was really calming. It was something that was appealing to my eye, and again, I knew I was gonna spend a lot of time in my classroom, so I kind of shifted. And then I was left over with a bunch of bins that I wasn't gonna use. So I ended up just giving them to some fellow teachers, but I think it would have saved me a lot of money. Actually, I know it would have saved me a lot of money if I would have waited to buy my bins before I knew exactly the kind of color scheme that I was gonna go for. And not to mention, buy your bins with a purpose. And I know that's hard as a first year teacher because you don't really know what those purposes are. But I found that I had a lot of extras kind of taking up storage in my closet, which isn't a horrible thing because as I needed them throughout the year, I had a place to just go grab them. But I think if you can, go into your bin buying excursion with a little bit of purpose. I think that will help you save some money in the long run. This is gonna kind of depend on teacher to teacher, but I'm gonna throw it in here anyway. Invest in some sort of a planner. It doesn't need to be a fancy planner. It doesn't need to be anything expensive. It doesn't even need to be a paper planner. If you're more of a digital person, find a planner or some sort of organization system on your computer, but do invest in some system to organize your planning. It's gonna make your life a lot easier. For me, I just use like an $8.99 planner from Target because I don't go super crazy in depth with my planning. Invest in a planner. All right, another thing, this could kind of fall in not necessarily needing it, but for me, I used it all the time, so I'm gonna throw it in there. And that is a laminator. I personally have the Scotch laminator. I got this from Walmart for like $20. I'll go ahead and leave an Amazon link down below in case you want to check it out. They range from like literally $17 to like $30. They're not that expensive and you're gonna use it, I promise. Your school should have a laminator, but they're really big and they're bulky and it's just a pain. And if you wanna be really extra, like me, you can buy two because I have one for my home and then I have one for school because I was finding that I didn't know where I was gonna be when I was laminating stuff. I'm not saying that you have to go out and do that, but if you're insane like me and a little bit extra, you can do that as well. So I think this is a personal must. Another thing that I used a ton of and I would highly recommend you getting is some sort of a paper cutter. Again, I just got this one from Walmart for $9 and you're gonna do a lot of cutting. A lot of cutting. I don't know about you, but I don't cut straight and this is just really easy. Super light, you can throw it in your bag. Again, I'm extra and I have one at home too. Those are just little things that make your life a little bit easier. All right, so now I'm gonna kind of dive into more of like supplies and things that you need. Before I do not go out and buy a bunch of class sets of things before you go into your classroom and you know what you have access to. I bought some things that I regret doing because all I needed to do was ask and they would have purchased the whole class set for me. For example, whiteboards. When I went into my classroom, I went in like way before school started and I bought a whole class set of whiteboards because they weren't left for me. Well, my school would have purchased them for me. So a class set of whiteboards I think is imperative. If you need to purchase it, you can. I did. If not, ask your school. Other class sets that I think are imperative to have. Whiteboards, rulers, clipboards. Those are the three things that we used a ton of. I had to purchase the clipboards and the rulers, but I just went to Dollar Tree and it was not that bad. Also, Expo markers for your whiteboards. So I put that on my kids' supply list that I send home during the summertime. So they hopefully bring their own, but not every kid's gonna bring their own. So I always have like a stockpile of black Expo markers. So black Expo markers is something that you should put on your list of things to get. Another thing that I think you absolutely need, and I mentioned this in my first video of this series, is a Teachers Pay Teachers account. It's free to sign up. There's a lot of awesome free resources on there. There are a lot of paid resources on there, but they're worth it. I just kind of restarted my Teachers Pay Teachers account as well, so I'll go ahead and link that down below if you guys want to check it out. There are so many helpful resources in there, especially for like decor, cheap things that you can use to make your classroom just a little bit prettier if that's what you're going for. So make sure you get yourself a Teachers Pay Teachers account. While I'm on the topic of decor, that just kind of sparked something in my head. Almost all of the decor items for my classroom I made. I created them, I printed them, I laminated them, and it saved me so much money. You can walk into Lakeshore or these teacher stores and spend hundreds of dollars. However, a lot of the stuff that was in those stores I didn't really like, and I wasn't about to spend hundreds of dollars on things like that. So I really spent the money on paper and ink, and I created a lot of stuff for my classroom. So that's just a quick tip. If you do want to spruce up your decor, it's a really easy way to save a lot of money, and I highly, 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 highly recommend it. All right, so these next couple things, I only have a few, are things that you don't need to be a successful teacher. However, they really helped me in my organization, and that is, the first one is the teacher toolbox that you've probably seen all over Instagram. I don't have a good photo of mine, but if I do, I'll put it right here. And you can get these from like Ace Hardware or Lowe's or any sort of hardware store. And it's a toolbox, literally, and then there are labels that you can purchase on Teachers Pay Teachers. I'm actually going to be creating one myself. Then you just put the labels in the drawers, and it's such an awesome way to organize your supplies. I had mine behind my desk last year, and I think I'm gonna put it by my small group table because I probably would use it more over there. It's just a really easy way to organize your supplies. So that's something, if you want to splurge, I would highly recommend doing. Another thing that you might already have in your classroom that I would recommend getting, if you don't, is a filing cabinet of some kind. More than likely, your school will provide you with one. If not, you can get filing cabinets at garage sales for literally $5, and it's gonna make your life easier, especially when you're trying to figure out the best way that you want to organize your curriculum. I just kind of created files throughout the year and just stuck them in there because I wasn't worried about that during my first year of teaching, because you have 100 other things to worry about. And in that note, if you want to take your organization to another level, something I recommend doing is getting yourself a set of binders or bins so you can start organizing your curriculum and your paper flow. It's going to save you a lot of headache in the long run. Actually, let me show you what I'm going to use next year. Maybe you'll be interested. So I've mentioned that I teach at an IB school, and at an IB school, we have 6 thematic units throughout the year. So I'm gonna organize my units with these 6 tubs, and I got these big tubs from Big Lots. They're $6, and I just made these labels, again, saving myself money. And if you look on the inside, they have these lips, so you can hang files in there. So for me, that was just easy because then I can pull this out for this unit and then I have it right here. So that's something that I'm gonna be doing, not something that I think is like necessary. Again, I didn't have that last year, but also I think could be really helpful. All right, so those are the main things that I have for like must purchases. I'm sure that I've forgot some, but I hope that this helped in a little bit as far as what you should buy. Now I'm gonna kind of transition into what maybe you should not buy, and that's from personal experience. So this first one, it's so funny. I really wanted my library to be really cute and inviting and welcoming and warm, and so I bought this really fuzzy white rug for my library. And I had it set out in the beginning of the year, and it was clean, it was beautiful, and one of the teachers walked in and was like, "Ooh, sweetie, that's gonna get really dirty." And I was like, "It's fine." It got so disgusting that I ended up throwing it away. And that sucked because it wasn't cheap. So don't do that. Don't buy a white rug. Don't buy anything that you think is gonna get really, really dirty. I'm probably not even gonna buy a rug for this next classroom. That's not true. I might, but I'm gonna learn from my previous mistakes and not get anything white. So this next one is a huge one. Do not go out and buy a bunch of supplies. Do not go out and buy markers and colored pencils and crayons and scissors and glue and all that stuff until you know what your school will provide you with. Not to mention what your kids and what your parents are gonna donate to your classroom. You will spend so much money stocking your classroom with supplies for no reason. Now that being said, there are gonna be some supplies that you are gonna go out and purchase, but don't do it until you know what you can get for free. Oh my God, are you kidding? Save yourself some money. So things that I ended up having to buy for myself, I ended up getting a bunch of watercolor sets for my kids because we were doing a lot of art, and so I wanted to have that, and I knew that my school wasn't gonna provide that for me. The clipboards is something that I mentioned earlier that I had to go out and buy. I did go out and buy a big like batch of glue sticks off Amazon because you will soon learn that they get destroyed instantly. So I just wanted to have backups of some of those things, which is fine, but don't go out and buy a bunch of stuff that you're gonna get for free. Another supply that you don't need to go out and buy a bunch of is Kleenex. I had so much Kleenex donated in my classroom that it lasted the whole year. I still have boxes left over. So make sure parents are helping donate for things like that. There's no reason for you to go out and spend a bunch of your own money on things like Kleenex for their sick kids. Okay, this next one. I can't stress this enough, and it's so hard because I didn't do this. I'm being such a hypocrite right now, but looking back, I wish I would have. Do not go out and spend money on storage items until you've seen your space. So what I mean is I was thinking in my head like, oh, I'm gonna have all this built-in storage because those are all the classrooms that I've ever worked in. Wrong. I walked into my classroom and I had one cabinet. So I had to go buy bookcases. I had to buy a bunch of stuff that I didn't budget for because I was spending my money on a bunch of silly things that I didn't need. And on the contrary, you don't want to go buy a bunch of bookcases and stuff if you already have it in your classroom. So do not buy storage items until you've seen your space. And I know that's so hard because you're so eager and you're like, oh, I just want to start doing things. But I'm telling you, it will save you so much time and money. Do not do it. All right, this last thing is hard for me to say because I'm so guilty of it, but I need to throw it out there. As a new teacher, you don't really know what you need until the year kind of progresses. So do not walk into Target or Dollar Tree and just go ham. I've done it. I did it. I have a box of stuff that I purchased from Target, Dollar Spot, and Dollar Tree that I just didn't use. Like, I'm not kidding you. I would grab things and be like, oh, I think that would be fun. Oh, I could use this for da-da-da-da. I could use this for da-da-da-da. Oh, that's cute. You end up with so much crap that you don't have room for. And now when I walk into Target and Dollar Tree, I do not buy something unless I know the purpose for it, for the most part. So do yourself a favor, especially in these months where you're waiting and you just don't know what to buy. Do not go crazy in the Target Dollar Spot. There are some things there that you totally could buy. So just don't do it. You'll thank me in the long run. Okay guys, so that's my whole list of what to buy and what not to buy as a first year teacher. I really hope you liked it. Give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down below. Make sure to subscribe. This is video number 2 in a first year teacher series, so I don't want you to miss the following videos. Now that I've been talking about all this like classroom stuff, I have been going kind of crazy this summer now that I know what I need. So I think I'm gonna do a big classroom haul video later in the summer. Let me know what you think if that's something that you want to see. But all right guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.